Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Hello, New Hampshire. How are you?
Well, there are still ballots left to count. We have beaten the odds every step of the way.
In this election season, we have been told by some that you must either be for revolution or you are for the status quo. But where does that leave the rest of us?
We still have 98% of our delegates for our nomination up for grabs. And Americans in every part of the country are going to make their voices heard.
We're going to Nevada. We're going to South Carolina. We're going to win those states as well.
You have no idea how great it is to be back in South Carolina.
Woo! Joe's not even going to Nevada. He just skips Nevada altogether, which is next Saturday, which is a caucus. Sanders is going to win that. The reason is big union delegations there, include for the hotels and everything. He's going to win that, and he's better at caucusing. I think Buttigieg will do okay there. The question is now, what happens with Warren and Biden? Warren yesterday, I think a lot of people, I thought she would come in third. She got boat raced by Klobuchar. But I don't think Klobuchar has staying power, right? She's got a great story. She's been around a while. She's finding that moderate lane, and she's hanging in. She's making the people who run the DNC very happy, right? She's a team player, right? She's not like Bernie. She's not like Buttigieg. As much as they like Buttigieg, the reality is he's still an outsider, right? He's a mayor of a small town, or was. He is a political outsider. He hasn't been in the Beltway for a long time. He comes and visits for 2 seconds and leaves, and maybe he's going there on vacation. He is not the guy that's been around the Democratic Party politics and hierarchy for a long time, so they're a little reticent of him. They feel that he's better, probably, than Bernie. But Biden and Warren, I think they were both looking at them thinking, well, one of these two has to be it. And they're a mess.
Warren and Biden. You know, Warren should do well here. She really invested heavily in Iowa and New Hampshire. She's just down the road a piece in Massachusetts. Biden was the front runner in this race, although there's a new national poll that says Sanders is now the front runner in the race. He's saying now, well, look, you have to take the four combined, Nevada and then South Carolina. But that wasn't what he was saying when he went into Iowa and did the No Malarkey bus tour. Can he go on if he finishes fourth or fifth here? Yes. Is he really seriously wounded? Yes.
Absolutely. And I think Warren is too. I got to be honest. Warren, I thought she was going to do so much better, and she's been a non-factor, right? Those first few Democratic debates where she was on stage, she was in the center, right? Then she took over kind of the lead, and she was the center. And I've always said, man, one thing is standing on top of that hill. The other thing's trying to get to it. And you find out that standing on top of the hill when everybody's trying to get what you've got is much different than chasing. It's a lot easier to play offense than defense. And she hasn't been the same. And ever since that night with Bernie, she's been a non-factor. And I just, watching Biden left yesterday and did a Skype call back to New Hampshire. It was embarrassing. He's skipping Nevada altogether. I didn't think he thought he was going to do well, but he just doesn't feel like he cares. And I think he knows this is his last gasp. And now they're paying, well, you know, Clinton lost the first four, but then he got to South Carolina, you know, and then it all changed. And you know, he seems completely out of it.
Biden, he does appear older. He appears more out of step. He appears more establishment. Bernie Sanders' message, which is not new, is certainly still an outsider message that is resonating with a big part of the party. And if you look at Klobuchar and Buttigieg, fresher faces from the Midwest, these are outsider voices that are resonating a lot more. So, yes, Biden now says, no, it's all about, you know, the voice of minority voters in the South. They're going to carry the day. You know, I think it's fair to be deeply skeptical about that at this point.
Yeah, because those numbers aren't what they used to be. He was counting on, I'll do okay in Iowa. Hopefully I'll do okay, maybe finish third or second in New Hampshire. Won't be really any factor in Nevada, but then I'll go and it'll start to pick up the steam. Here's the issue, and people need to realize this if you're Warren and Biden. People are looking around going, Amy Klobuchar is good, right? She's that middle lane. Pete Buttigieg, that's the middle lane that I like. There's where I can go. And you listen to some of these voters yesterday in New Hampshire. They were upset that he left. Some of them were questioning even before that. They don't feel he has the staying power. And I don't think he does either. He looked exhausted last night. He looked befuddled. I mean, the reality is he didn't have a chance. He doesn't have a chance. He doesn't. And even listening to him talk, and I mean, he is hoping that every minority votes for him and keeps him in this race longer. If he goes 0 for 4 or he scratches out a win in South Carolina and that's the best he can do, Super Tuesday is going to be a wake-up call like you couldn't believe. And by the way, Warren, after South Carolina, if she doesn't do well in Nevada and then she gets boat raced again in South Carolina, that is it for her.
You can't be the Democratic nominee and you can't win a general election as Democrat unless you have overwhelming support from black and brown voters. It's just really simple. No, it's a natural fact. It's true. It's absolutely true. And folks, all those Democrats who won against incumbents, from Jimmy Carter to a guy named Clinton to a guy named Obama, my good friend, guess what? They had overwhelming African-American support. Without it, nobody's ever won. And you all know you own my heart.
God. Please, I'm desperate. I know a black guy named Obama. Be my friend. Please, 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 please. Just, oh my Lord. It was tough to watch. Bernie won. That wasn't a shock. I think the close side of it for some people was a shock. I thought it would be close-ish. I thought he'd win. I thought he'd win by a few more than he did. I think the surprise was, and here's the thing you guys got to look at. The talk and fear about Bernie and the progressive wing. You add up even Biden, Klobuchar, and Buttigieg, it dwarfs even Warren and Sanders. It does. It does. And I think they realize that. I think they're starting to realize that. And as I tried to explain, and I've continued to explain, you got to understand something. Bernie can't stand the Republicans. He can't stand big business. He can't stand the establishment. And that establishment also includes the Democratic Party. He's not a fan of them. They are a tool to get him where he wants to go. That is it. They offer him the best chance to get him from point A to point B to, you see where I'm going, C, D, E. That's what he offers them. And he offers them the opportunity to potentially have a guy they think, well, he's better than Trump. He's better than Trump. And they have a civil war going on inside of their party. And they need to figure out what's going to happen inside of that party. Where is this thing going to go? How are we going to play ourselves out? What does it look like? The Republicans ceded to Trump. He came in and took the party over. Then along came Bernie along the way, and he is pushing the party further and further left. And the civil war is going on. The one thing that's different between the two battles is Bernie's got other people behind him to hold up that mantle. And a lot of people are saying a lot of the same things. Now, I think their actions would be completely different. But there are several inside of there from the AOCs and the Ilhan Omars and several other who would like to take up that mantle and keep pulling the party left. I don't see on the other side who's coming in behind Trump that's going to be the Trump-like quality and attitude that comes with it. Because both of these guys have a certain attitude. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Trump, Roger Stone, kind of bizarre. Look, I never thought, I don't think Roger Stone should go away for years. I don't, right? I don't. I think he deserves some time. Trump's loyalty is going to keep him from doing, I think, a ton of time with Barr and everybody looking at it, him coming out and tweeting and saying stuff about this. I think that pissed a lot of people off. You had 4 of the prosecutors step down. They were all angry and upset. One of them even resigned from the Department of Justice itself. In saying that, 7 to 9 years seems a little harsh. I did a story yesterday out in Phoenix about a kid who was convicted of manslaughter, and he killed a kid, wounded a few others, and he's doing 6 years. And I'm thinking, you're giving 7 to 9 years? One thing you can't do, ask Martha Stewart and many others, is lie to the feds. They hate when you lie to the feds. But does it really matter? Give him 100 years. You know Trump's going to pardon him at some point. Trump likes loyalty, and Roger Stone is loyal. I said the other day, man, if Trump loses in November, his pardon list is going to be really interesting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Tweet at me. Car Shield's amazing. So I've got a newer car and an older car. Newer car, it has all the gadgets. It's got the GPS. It's got all the gadgets, the bells, the whistles, right? And it looks cool, which is always nice. My older car, which I like and I still drive it a lot, doesn't have any of those things. But both of them have Car Shield. And I've got plans for both of them, for the newer car and the older car. Plans are affordable. I start at about $99 a month, right? So under $100 for you to get plan that'll fix the car as a just in case, the inevitable for many people. It doesn't matter what kind of car you have. They'll take care of it. 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop, and Car Shield lets you choose the shop you go to. They get them paid directly. That is amazing. You pay a small deductible. Again, what kind of car do you have? What are you looking for? Call them, explain to them what you're looking for. They've got the plan to fit your budget and to fix the car that you have. Call 800-CAR-6000, mention code Benson, or visit carshield.com, carshield.com. Use code Benson. That saves you 10%. 800-CAR-6000. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
I, you, he, she, it. Lucy is a girl.
Point of personal privilege, please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Shut up, boo.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
Special Prosecutor Dan Webb releasing a statement saying a Cook County grand jury has returned a 6-count indictment against Empire actor Jussie Smollett, charging him with making 4 separate false reports to Chicago police officers as they investigated false claims that he was the victim of a hate crime. Webb also concluding that further prosecution against Smollett is in the interest of justice. Smollett's set to appear in court February 24th.
That's never going away, is it? Kim Foxx, the DA, she's all pissed off. She's in the middle of a re-election campaign. She's all angry. Oh, my God, you lied. It's funny. We were just talking about the craziness of the likes of Roger Stone, right? You know, and what's going on there. And you know, you just sit there and laugh because they just threw everything out. Smollett lied. He made up a story. He paid some guy with a, I mean, it was hilarious. It wasn't even done right. I thought you were a creative person. You're in the movie and TV biz, and you can't come up with something creative than this. And then they said, "Well, we're going to drop everything." And you're like, "What?" Again, people, tell the truth. You ever watch Live PD? You just tell the truth. And what ends up happening? Cops usually cut you some sort of break. Again, if you got like a kilo of heroin, you're probably in trouble. But if you got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a lot of times they're going to cut you a break, right? Jussie Smollett did this, and then he lied, then he double lied, then he triple lied, and he's still doing it. And now he's probably going to be in some trouble.
Roger Stone was convicted last year of lying to Congress, witness tampering, and obstructing a congressional investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. Prosecutors had originally recommended a lengthy sentence, arguing Stone tampered with a witness for months. But a Justice Department spokesman later called their recommendation extreme and excessive. and maintains the decision to reverse the recommendation came before the president's tweet.
I don't know if that's true or not. They maintain that. I thought it was a bit excessive. I thought, you know what, you give, first of all, I think somebody like him, you give him house arrest, we move on with our life, right? Smollett shouldn't go to jail. He should get house arrest. Some of this stuff is, they should get probation. It's just silliness, right? Well, he did this. And Roger Stone, look, we've had him on several occasions. He's a character. That's what he is. He's got the big tattoo and Nixon on his back. Probably has one of Trump now, right? He's a character. The way they went after him, they went after a lot of people, right, in relation to Trump. Some of it, as we found out later on, the likes of Carter Page and a few others seemed a bit ridiculous because it was a bit ridiculous. At the end of the day, let's move on with our lives. Goodness me. You wonder, where the hell's common sense, right? Is there common sense anywhere? I don't know.
Some 400 scientists, many logging in remotely, are participating in the exchange of ideas whose aim is to speed the development of tests, treatments, and vaccines against the new virus. WHO's Director General says
the world doesn't want to wake up and consider this enemy virus as public enemy number one. I don't think we will learn from our lessons.
Prioritizing paths to developing drugs and vaccines, one of the goals of the two-day gathering.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with this. I think the reality is they delve deeper into this thing. They're still trying to figure it out, different strains. Then I was in Miramar this past weekend, and there was somebody in Miramar who had the strain of coronavirus that is the one that they're talking about that's so deadly, not just the common cold kind of virus one. And they messed up the reports, and they mix up, and then they turn that person loose. It's just like, it's got to get underhand. And how much do you trust China? Again, it goes back to China. How big could this thing get if it got to some third world countries? That's another question. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. It's Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Wow. We were laughing about the name of the coronavirus because they got a name for it now.
The virus given an official name, COVID-19. It's infected over 43,000 and killed more than 1,000 people, nearly all cases in China. In the U.S., the 13th confirmed case, a passenger quarantined on base in Miramar in California, has now tested positive. Nearly 200 Americans under quarantine since flying in from Wuhan 2 weeks ago are now free to go home. Protective masks tossed in the air in celebration at March Air Reserve Base.
And the reason they chose the name, we've been laughing about this, because they went PC in the name choosing. That's right. They went PC in the name choosing. I'm not lying. COVID-19. They said the result of the rulemaking and political sensitivity for COVID-19. We had to find a name that did not refer to a geographical location, an animal or individual or a group of people, and that something was also pronounceable and relatable to the disease. They went PC. Like, do you think any animal, what if you called it the bat flu? Or the pangolin? Or the goblin flu? Do you think anybody's like, goblins are going to be like, oh my God, I'm pissed. How racist. You're goblin phobic. You think bats are going, we need to have a talk. Guys, we need to have a talk here. Did you see what they did? Yeah, they've demonized us. Yeah, they're making fun of us. No. Yes. Are you serious? Yes. No way. Yes. Well, I'll be. I can't believe it. No, I know. So stupid. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Last night, of course, was the end for Yang. I'm going to miss Yang. Right? Yang is fun. Right? Yang made us think. Yang didn't piss anybody off.
I am not someone who wants to accept donations and support in a race that we will not win. And so tonight, I am announcing I am suspending my campaign for president.
Whoa. He never had a chance. But let's be real, right, for a second. Here's a guy not many people outside of the tech world and nonprofits kind of knew about, who came on the scene as a relative nobody. He wasn't like Buttigieg was a politician. People inside of the Democratic Party knew who he was. On top of that, Obama gave him an endorsement like 16 months ago, like this guy is the next. Not Andrew Yang. He was interesting. He came in, threw some stuff out there, and I just like the fact that the way he went about doing things. I've said, I don't care if you're on the right or left, you find a place for him in your administration because he's forward thinking.
I can't tell you how sad I am that Andrew Yang is leaving this race. I think that he represented a positive populism. So much of politics now is who do you hate? And the thing about Andrew Yang is you could join the Yang gang and not hate anybody. He just wanted to make sure that we retooled the economy for these new challenges. And I just think that from a decade perspective, he may wind up being a much more significant voice than we recognize tonight.
Yeah, and that is a huge possibility. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to be around. I think he's made a name for himself. But I like the fact that nobody really hated him, right? And Van Jones was right. We live in a world now where it is about demonizing the other side. It's about telling everybody, no, I don't suck as much as that guy. That guy's the worst. That guy's awful. That guy's horrible. She's the worst. He, she, they're awful, bad. They're coming. They hate you. They hate your kind. That's so much of what it was like. And he wasn't like that. He wasn't. And I'm bummed because I thought I was getting $1,000 a month.
And also he broke a color barrier when it came. He's an Asian American guy, and now that's a thing. Right. And you saw a lot of young Asians get involved. And also, it wasn't a big thing. His idea around universal basic income was it like 3% or like no percent a year and a half ago. Now it's a 55% popular idea in some polls. That's a big deal.
That's awesome. I like it. Again, you find a place for people like that on or in your administration, on your staff somewhere, in your administration. You create a place. Because I think you look at somebody like that, he's got innovative ideas, and he is thinking about the future. He's thinking about where we're going. Love to get his take on things not just about AI and all of that stuff, but also on education, because I think our education system is a disaster. And we're stuck in neutral going uphill, and I feel like we're spinning our wheels. We have this complex education system. We have a huge diversity that does make, you look around the world, you say, Finland, and look at all these people in Iceland. They're like 99% are literate. I mean, yeah, but they're just one people. We have a complex system of different ways that people teach in charter schools and private schools. And you go into some classrooms, and especially in urban cities, you may have 5, 6, 7 different languages being spoken in there as their first language before they ever get to English. I want to know, how do we teach for where we're going? Not where we've been, but where we're going. And I think we need to do that more often than not, and we're not. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. I love hearing from all of you. I do. I like absurd. I like crazy because it makes me just go, really? Is that the world we're living? Case in point, this. Remember now, kids, if you go to school and you're a child and you happen to do something that freaks people out, there's a good chance it's going to be blown out of proportion.
A child's outburst in the Valley Forge Elementary kindergarten class drew a threat assessment and led to a police investigation we're told was initiated by the school district. The girl at the center of it all, 6-year-old Margot. She has Down syndrome. Maggie Gaines says the moment that landed her daughter in hot water was when Margot made a gun gesture and said she'd shoot the teacher.
It was very clear from the beginning that she didn't understand what she was saying, and the teacher and the principal agreed. But then they said that they needed to convene a threat assessment team.
Wait a minute. You have to have a threat assessment team on a 6-year-old who made a gun gesture, who has Down syndrome, who doesn't understand what she did. And you're going to go, as an adult, we need a threat assessment team. Really? Is that what you need? Yeah. Well, they're done. They're too busy chasing Roger Stone. But as soon as they capture him, they're coming for her.
Gaines said the conclusion, there was in fact no threat to safety. But she says the Tredyffrin Easttown School District wasn't finished.
But they said that they still needed to call the police. And as I get this phone call, I was fine with everything up until they said, and we have to call the police. And I said, you absolutely do not have to call the police. This is ridiculous.
You have to call the police? How do you do? I explained about 2-3 years ago. Jack was in first grade, right? I think it was. Maybe it was kindergarten. It was first grade or kindergarten. It was one of those. And you know how kids are. They run around. They don't know, right? You got a crush on somebody. And like a girl kissed Jack on the cheek. And like we get a phone call. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, and then another girl did, and they're like, I'm like, what should we do? I'm like, are you asking me? I was like, is this a serious phone call? Because at first I'm like, there's no way you guys are asking me this as adults. What do we do at this point in time? Well, I don't know. Somebody find Ronan Farrow. We need to get to the bottom of this. They're kids running around. At some point in time, is there not an adult that goes, you know what? We're just going to let this one slide, move on with our life. I don't think the 6-year-old Down syndrome girl is going to blast away at anybody. Right? Just like I don't think Jack has been Harvey Weinstein by a couple of kindergarten girls. We're just going to move on with our life, but not in this day and age.
Gaines last month went public about the incident in a letter to the school board. Her position, school officials are misinterpreting policy and state law.
She didn't really understand what she was saying. Her having Down syndrome is one aspect of it, but I'm pretty sure that most 6-year-olds don't really understand what that means. So now there is a record at the Tredyffrin Police Department that says she made a threat to her teacher.
Yeah, they said, no, there's not a record, but she is on file. And I'm like, my God. When you were a kid, most of you listening right now, when you were a kid, you did something stupid. Mrs. Winston, right? I had a teacher, Mrs. Winston, right? It's a great lady, one of my favorite teachers of all time. Man, she grabbed my arm. She had big nails, right? Her husband was in the NFL. Son went on to play in the NFL. Man, we were just, oh, God. She would smack you upside the head and say, stop that. Get on with your life. And we get on with our life. We can't do that now. Everybody's so sensitive. Too sensitive? You mean, like, how do you go home at night and say, hey, you know what? How was your day? It's tough. We had a little girl. She got Down syndrome. She's 6. Nice little girl. Until the point where she threatened to kill me with her finger gun. Oh, no way. Yeah. She was going to finger gun me. Yeah, she did. What kind was it? Was it a semi-automatic? I think it was. You're like, no. Man, you need a drink. People. How do you look people in the face and roll with that? I'm just curious. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love, hate, craziness. It's all there, kids. It's all there, kids. Am I wrong? Am I being weird? Look, there are kids you can look at and say, all right, that kid's going to be some trouble. Right? And we got to watch it. But 6, Down syndrome, knows really. 6-year-olds who don't have Down syndrome have very little concept of certain things. But this, like a threat assessment team, what does that even mean? I feel like people are going to be rappelling down a roof, coming to get you. Oh, my. Hey, I'm an active person. You want to know? Let's take a look at this. Took my super beat, I took my Beat Elite earlier today by Human. right? So I take this stuff. It's great because I want to get more out of, super active. Already today, I have done an hour and 24 minutes of working out, and I crushed it. I'm playing soccer tonight, so I'll do about 2.5. And you know what I do? I take my Beat Elite, little 4 ounces of water, pour it in there, boom, drink it straight down, away I go. And what it's doing for me is incredible. It's giving me a natural edge. I mean, my edge here is like I'm going longer, feeling better. I've already done 30 flights of stairs. I love Beat Elite. Take about a half an hour before and just watch it go. And if you normally work out 45 minutes, but you like to work out longer, you watch how you extend your workout. You're going to get more endurance, better stamina, increase your oxygen. That's what Beat Elite's going to do for you. It does it for me for soccer and my other workouts. You're going to love it. All major sports teams and organizations across the country use Beat Elite. You are going to love it. Take your game to the next level. Take your workout to another level. Go to livehuman.com/Chad. You're going to save 20% off your first purchase. Team Human is making this offer just for my listeners. You're not going to find a deal like this anywhere else. That's livehuman.com/Chad. livehuman.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
19-year-old Bud Weisser of South St. Louis was arrested for trespassing at the home of Budweiser, the Anheuser-Busch brewery in Soulard last night. Police say that Bud Weisser, the suspect, entered a secured area where only Budweiser, the beer, was allowed. Bud Weisser, the suspect, then reportedly scuffled with security there to guard the Budweiser beer, who asked Budweiser to leave. After refusing, police bottled up Budweiser and took him into custody. Well, when you say Budweiser, you've said it all.
That guy went to college. Not Budweiser or Weisser, the announcer. Often wonder, because I talk to, pretty high profile out here, and so we see, a lot of we talk to a lot of them, friends with a lot of them, and sometimes they love that stuff. You get one or two that love to do those things, and then you get some where it's like, oh my God, really, I've got to do this? I'm still paying off student loans. Well, you got to do your Budweiser, because some people want to laugh every once in a while. Speaking of that, who watched it?
The best in show goes to the Standard Poodle.
Yes! Yes!
Siva takes it all.
4-year-old Siva, your 2020 best in show.
I listened to Chris Myers. I was flipping around, and I'm like, man, that's Chris Myers. He does, all kinds of sports. He does it all. He's the NFL, man. He's done baseball. He does everything. No, you're going to do the Westminster Dog Show. So the Sheba or Seba, that thing won, the Standard Poodle. Good for it.
Boxer, the golden retriever, the Poodle. Who will it be?
Yeah, who will it be? With this deep voice. Who will it be? Who do you think it's going to be?
And to have the privilege of making this decision, the best in show goes to the Standard Poodle.
Yeah, Standard Poodle. I just love his voice.
Boxer, the golden retriever, the Poodle. Who will it be?
That is, when you can do dog shows in your country and they televise it, you're doing all right. I want everybody to understand that, right? When you can do dog shows, when people can spend thousands upon hundreds of thousands of dollars on trainers and their animals, you are doing all right as a country. I'm putting it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Love hearing from every single one of you. Of course, last night, New Hampshire, Sanders with the big win.
We also know better than to try to defeat such a disruptive president by relying on the same Washington framework and mindset. After all, if today's Washington were serving America well, a guy like Donald Trump would never have come within cheating distance of the Oval Office in the first place.
But Mayor Pete's keeping up his momentum. So he's got a first-ish and a second for sure. Bernie's got a first-ish and a first for sure. Bernie's probably going to win 2.5 in Nevada. I think everybody's really looking at South Carolina as this is the first big test for everybody. I mean, if Biden was somehow able to claw his way out of it and have a convincing win, maybe he steadies the ship. But if Bernie and Buttigieg do really well in Nevada, which I think is very possible, and they somehow manage to keep it close or even overtake Biden, those two are going to be tough to beat. So Bloomberg's going to have to pull off some magic come Super Tuesday. And Elizabeth Warren, Klobuchar, I just don't think she has the staying power. Great story, been around a while, but I just don't think she has the money and the staying power. And hearing what Bloomberg's putting, he's got 2,000 people on the ground in like 45 states. Think about that. That is nuts. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me, text the program right there. That's your text line, 323-538-CHAD, C-H-A-D. You can text me, tweet at me, check out the Instagram, and, of course, the Facebook page, The Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Hello, New Hampshire. How are you?
Well, there are still ballots left to count. We have beaten the odds every step of the way.
In this election season, we have been told by some that you must either be for revolution or you are for the status quo. But where does that leave the rest of us?
We still have 98% of our delegates for our nomination up for grabs. And Americans in every part of the country are going to make their voices heard.
We're going to Nevada. We're going to South Carolina. We're going to win those states as well.
You have no idea how great it is to be back in South Carolina.
Because you guys aren't mean to me like Iowa was. You guys aren't mean to me. Did you guys see Iowa was mean to me and New Hampshire was mean to me? Bernie wins. Good for Bern. Can you feel the burn? So that's a good thing. Buttigieg did well. I think the surprise of the night was Klobuchar, right? I think Amy Klobuchar, who just absolutely ran by Warren, and she was the other surprise. Warren was a non-factor in a state that borders her state, a place where she spent time and money. Her to finish fourth is as bad as Biden finished fifth. It was awful if you're her. She's trying to out Bernie, and it's not working. Then she's trying to pivot somewhat to the center, and it's not working. She is a ship without a rudder. She's got no engine. She doesn't know where she's going. I think she's out of the race after South Carolina. I don't see her doing well. Maybe she finishes third or fourth in the caucus in next Saturday in Nevada. Maybe. I couldn't tell you. Right? Again, caucuses are weird. I don't, after what we saw, the disaster in Iowa and what took place there, I don't put too much, emphasis on that now. I just think that, and it's still a very bizarre, archaic way of doing things. They like doing it that way. Great. But South Carolina is going to be telling. It is going to be absolutely telling. It will. And Klobuchar, she picked up Amy's army. That's what they're calling it. She's picking up steam.
I voted for Amy Klobuchar.
Tell me why.
I actually went in and eeny, meeny, miny, moed it.
You're kidding.
No, between
literally
two candidates.
in the booth.
In the booth.
Solid. She's voting in real life. I eeny, meeny, miny, moed it. I eeny, meeny, miny, moed it. You did? Yep, absolutely. Went with her. So many people, though, yesterday were going and voting for the person that they thought of right before they walked in there. Very few people were wandering in there and thinking to themselves, I know sure who I'm going to do. Bernie had some of his people. You saw a lot of people, though, especially for Klobuchar and Buttigieg. And Biden leaving yesterday and heading off. Oh, my God. What are you doing? What are you doing? But it was a big win for Sanders. Not as big. Like, here's the thing: people, they're down. Some people are downplaying his win. Oh my God, he only won by what, like 2 percentage points? Oh, gee. Think about this though. He ran against Hillary 4 years ago. There was only 2 people on the ticket. He won by 20 points in his backyard. Here it was a little different. It was very much like the Republicans. It's spread out amongst everybody. He continues to get 25 to 35% of the vote. He's on a winning path, especially if there's this many people. Now, if it goes to 2 people, that's a different story. But at least right now, you can get your way through these on the caucus, South Carolina, and probably, I'm going to say there's about 4 or 5 left come Super Tuesday. But 2 of those will be on fumes.
The reason that we are going to win is that we are putting together an unprecedented, multi-generational, multiracial political movement. And this is a movement from coast to coast, which is demanding that we finally have an economy and a government that works for all of us, not wealthy campaign contributors.
So here is Yahoo Finance, amongst many others, is trying to get a real snapshot of what Bernie would like to do. Let's be 100% honest. Even if Bernie wins, the chances and likelihood of him getting any of these things through in what he would like it to look like are slim to none. And his biggest battle won't be with Republicans. It'll be with Democrats. A lot of lobbyists out there who give to both. A lot of lobbyists out there who, quite frankly, they're going to look and say, this guy's going to destroy a lot of stuff. And those people that they're lobbying like keeping their jobs. And if you think you're going to go do this and burn it down like Bernie, again, I say it over and over, Bernie doesn't want to change. He wants to burn it all down and rebuild it in a way that he thinks is going to be great. When asked over and over again, how do you plan to pay for all these things? How do you even plan to get these things through? He talks about his people getting out there and marching every single day and demanding a political revolution. That's scary. That is. I'm sorry. So, $3.2 trillion for Medicare for all. Social Security, $170 billion. Canceling student debt for college, $220 billion. Public school reform, $16 billion. Green New Deal, $1 trillion. $250 billion for affordable housing. Free universal child care is $70 billion. It would push the total to almost $5 trillion, $4.93 trillion with a T. That more than doubles federal spending. Think about that for a second. He said he's going to create 20 million unionized jobs. I don't know what that looks like, right? And a lot of people are saying you're completely underestimating the cost of this. And that's my biggest fear, is the underestimating the cost. Because as we all know, when it comes to politics and their estimations, they always err on the side, if everything goes right, this is what it looks like. And as we all know in life, rarely, if ever, does it go right. More often than not, the wheel falls off the bus the minute you turn the key on and you put your foot down on the pedal. Then what happens? Variety of tax hikes. Let's talk about this. Wealth tax, $32 million, which I think never going to happen. I think so if you got over $32 million, you're going to be wealth tax. It's not going to happen. right? You've already been taxed on that money. Now they're taxing you again, and it showed over and over again. It doesn't work. It's so funny when Bernie talks about, well, we're going to do this. We want to be like Sweden and everything. And then you always say, well, Sweden got rid of it. They don't have a death tax, and they don't have a wealth tax because it didn't work. No. Bernie wants to keep all the stuff that is going to take money out of your pocket, and anything that doesn't work from Sweden or Denmark, he didn't care. So $32 million are over. Large payroll tax to expand Social Security benefits, a tax on some financial trades, higher corporate tax. Most Americans don't object to higher tax on the wealthy, but his proposals are really aggressive. And this is where the Congress people who are on his team are going to say, I don't think so. I don't think so. So if you want to double spending, you're going to have to double taxes. And you're going to have to hope. And just remember this. It's other people's money. OPM. Where do you get other people's money? From other people. And when other people they take their money elsewhere, then there are other people that you have to go after and try to get money from. It works in smaller countries because the middle class robs from the middle class. It works in smaller countries because they're not as diverse as us. Oh, no, don't say that. That's not woke. I know. They're not? No. They're not as diverse as us. They have a big middle class, but no real upper class. Not really a poverty class, but they also don't do a lot. They rely on a lot of other things from other countries. That's not who we are. That's not who we are. And if you think that people are going to pour money into investing into our country, into our stock market, and you want to take a portion of it away, you watch what happens. What happens? I'm just asking the question. Maybe Bernie's got it all right and the stock market will go to 100,000. What if, though, the stock market drops below 20, goes down to 18, goes down to 17, your 401k shrinks, taxes go up, you don't have a deductible. I get that. I'm just curious. What about? Because your bills haven't changed, but your money shrunk. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Oh, I know. I'll print more money. Well, that's fantastic. I love inflation. It'll be awesome. Oh, Chad, you're such a jerk. You're not woke. Speaking of being woke, Lightstream, kids. Are you woke to how much money you're spending? I was reading an article yesterday, a really interesting article about how much people are putting on their credit cards. And that on average, people are paying thousands of dollars a year just in interest. Don't be those people. Get a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream. Rates as low as 5.95% APR with auto pay. You get $5,000 to $100,000 loan. Many cases get it the same day you apply. Easy to do. Right on your smartphone. I've had several people say, you said it was on your smartphone, and I went and did it on my smartphone, and I got the money within 24 hours. I'm like, I wouldn't lie to you. Lightstream is incredible. They are really, awesome. And you're paying 20%, 18%, 19%, 22%. Don't do that. 5.95% APR with autopay. Simple. Just for being my listener, how about this? We're going to save you some money. A special interest rate discount. The only way to get this is to go to lightstream.com/Benson. lightstream.com/Benson. Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.50% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Benson for more information. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, the only place so far that the Mueller investigation hasn't deep probed for collusion.
Stay tuned.
This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Oh, look at it. Tom Steyer is on TV. He's just a buffoon. Did you hear him last night? afterwards. Like, hello, Nevada! Wow. Okay. Crazy. All right, what's trending? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the old Google. Tom Steyer is trending there. South Carolina caucus, whose members attack critic of Steyer and his payments, his Black Caucus have come after him. Apparently, the Black Caucus leader received tens of thousands of dollars working for billionaire Steyer's campaign and also received money from his presidential hopeful campaign. Oh, Tom's trying to buy it. The billionaires and millionaires are trying to buy it. Jennifer Aniston is trending. And JetBlue, by the way. JetBlue's $20 flights are being sold as the airline celebrates its 20th anniversary. So here's the way it is. Selling discounted flights on Tuesdays and Wednesdays between February 19th and June 17th, excluding March 18th through the 31st and April 14th through the 21st. For example, flight New York to Worcestershire, Massachusetts, $20. How about that? Worcestershire, Massachusetts. There's all kinds of places you can fly. $20. Long Beach to Austin. $20. Now's your chance. $20. I like JetBlue. I like any plane that doesn't crash. That's my favorite plane. All you have to do is get me there. I don't care how comfortable it is. If I'm going somewhere, you land, it's a win. That's all I care about. Head over to Twitter. Bob Mueller. Being liberal means. Wednesday Swism. Say no to people who. Bernie won New Hampshire. Darwin Day. What? Yeah, it's Darwin Day today. So, people posting stuff about Darwin Award winner. They posted theirs. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one that's most responsive to change. So, 1809, Charles Darwin was born. 1809. And because of him, we've turned him into, some people turned him into a science god. A science god. 323-538-2423. At Chet Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Interesting night last night again. Sanders for the win. Buttigieg for the place. Amy Klobuchar for the show.
Donald Trump's worst nightmare is that the people in the middle, the people who have had enough of the name-calling and the mudslinging, have someone to vote for in November.
Are you going to tell us who that is, Amy? Are you going to? Oh, it's you. It's you. That's what you're going with.
Well, there are still ballots left to count. We have beaten the odds every step of the way.
She has. I mean, if you think about it, right? You know, we were just talking about it off the air. She's a middle America, right? That flyover state, Minnesota. She talked last night about, hey, I started my campaign, made the announcement in basically a blizzard. Everybody thought it was a joke. She's doing okay. Her problem is she's eeny, meeny, miny, mo for a lot of people. She's their second or third choice. She doesn't excite people, and the one thing she doesn't do is she doesn't excite donors. And how do you go about doing that? Yang had a revolution. He did it all online without a ton of money. I don't see that happening with her. And she's better capitalize fast, because just as exciting as this momentum is, 2 weeks from now, you could be back at the Senate just doing your job. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Speaking of nightmares, we're going to talk about what scares people the most during their nightmares. New study came out. Interesting. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
A proposal to censure Mitt Romney for his impeachment vote is now dead. So is a bill that would set up a way to try and recall U.S. senators. That one did not specifically name Romney, but it came while Romney broke with Republicans in the impeachment trial. Utah legislative leaders said they met behind closed doors and decided not to move forward on either proposal. They do want to send a letter to President Trump to thank him for what he has done for Utah. And a group in the state Republican Party still has a proposed resolution demanding Romney support the president or resign.
Oh, my God. It's going to haunt him for the next couple of weeks until there's a new craziness that goes on. It is. It's coming, kids. It's coming. Can you believe that? Let's get over it. He had some cojones. He did what he thought was right. He hates the president. He's always hated the president. I love those people. I was sitting there last night watching the, Buttigieg and Klobuchar, and I said, I kind of want Trump to lose, so Trump's people will go crazy. And then I kind of want Trump to win, so the left will go crazy. Like, it's more a study and entertainment. This is for the soul of our country. Those people, I love when they say it. This is for the soul of the country. We can't stand another 4 years. It's not possible to have another 4 years. We won't exist. I heard that with Obama, right? I'm still waiting for Sharia law, right? He was the greatest gun salesman ever. He was the deporter in chief, right? He cozied up with big business. Should we go on? Right? I'm waiting for the nuclear war that Trump's going to get us. Remember when he killed Soleimani like a month and a half, 2 months ago when he ordered it and it happened? It's like, this is it. The world's coming to an end. World War III, World War VI, World War X. Nothing. Just watching people overreact. And I get it on Twitter all the time. And I'm like, it is what it is. I kind of want to see where it heads. Coronavirus. It's got a new name. And there's already a mistake when it comes to diagnosing someone.
Authorities say the community here in San Diego has nothing to worry about even after that error. As for the new coronavirus name, COVID-19, the World Health Organization says they picked that specifically to avoid any stigmas.
We don't want any stigmas, right? Would have pissed the bats off. Snakes, right? The pagolon, which is the anteater-like thing with the hard shell. We don't want any of that. Piss any of them off, right? I don't want any PETA coming after. I can't believe he did this. You're like, bats will be like, man, this is the worst. Can't believe it. Are you reading this? They're all hanging upside down in a cave, reading something in Wuhan. Are you guys reading this? You guys see what they're doing here? They're blaming us for this. Can you believe that? It's not very nice, Chad. So they went, just kind of rolled with it, and said, let's do something. We're gonna give it a name. We'll give it a name and a number. We'll make it kind of, they should have just called it beige. Beige 1. Right? Beige doesn't really offend. It's not very exciting. It's kind of bland. It's perfect. It's perfect. What did you catch? But it's not fun to talk about, right? Oh, dude. Like if somebody dies from, you can't say, dude, Jim died from beige 1. No. Yeah, totally. No. Yeah. Beige 1 killed him. Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. So, nightmares. They're real. You know that, and I know that. There's a new study out about said nightmares and what most people dream about, what the most common nightmares are. It's very interesting. They broke it down by most frequent all the way down to gender. So, most frequent nightmares. Falling, number one, 64.7%. Being chased, 63%. Falling, I've had. Chase, probably. Death, I've not. I don't know. Feeling lost, nope. That's number 4. Feeling trapped, no. Being attacked, missing an important event. We were all talking about this off the air. That's one I think I've had. Or waking up late. Sex was up there as well. Natural disasters, ghost, aliens, and paranormal. Significant other cheating. You ever done that? You ever been with your girlfriend or maybe your husband or whatever, and then they thought you cheated on them in a dream, and they were pissed at you the rest of the day, like you did something? So wait a minute, I didn't do anything. I was laying right here. You thought I did something, and now I'm in trouble for it. Okay. Being paralyzed, that one. Drowning is also another one. Killing someone. I'm like, I've never seen unknown dead people, car trouble, bugs crawling on you. Here's one for it. It's a new one. Technology malfunction. But the two that really made it weird were teeth falling out. 34% of people say teeth falling out. And that would never even cross my mind. And then going bald was also one. They got about 5% people worried about going bald. I'm bald, so it doesn't matter for me. I am. Now, for women, breaking it down, and men. Loved one dying. 60% of women have had nightmares. These are common ones, where 40% of men. Natural disasters, almost 50-50. Attacking someone, 56% of men, 43% of women. Dead even on being attacked. Bugs crawling on you. 60% of women say bugs crawling on you. Now, here's one. Your significant other leaving you. 60% women, 40% men. Your significant other cheating on you. 65% women, 34% men. Teeth falling out. Mostly a woman thing. 58% of women say that. Sex, 50-50 for sex. Seeing unknown dead people, 60% of women. Killing someone, I was surprised. 44% of women have dreamt about killing someone, as have 55%. Going bald, it's almost 50-50. Oh, my Lord. That's so funny. That is crazy. Nightmares, though. But the being paralyzed one, I think that's very real. The falling, they say one of the things they do when you fall asleep, they believe as you're falling and your brain is relaxing, it gives you that sensation that you're falling, right? It's one of the things that they think. But the being in a nightmare, have you ever had this too, where you're in a nightmare and then you feel like you can't move and you're paralyzed or whatever, and then you wake up and then you're like looking around, and then you go back to sleep and it's almost like it picks up right there, like it was shooting a movie. Yeah, that's crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You can tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from you. Trump rolled out his budget.
Federal budget should be a statement of our national values. What is important to us as a nation should be reflected in how we allocate our resources. The budget, in terms of our legislative work, is the heart of the matter. And this is a heartless budget. Slashing $500 billion from Medicare. After he stood in front of the House and said, I'm protecting Medicare and Social Security, $500 billion out of Medicare. And from Medicaid, $900 billion.
Yeah. Which, by the way, it's his wish list. It's never going to happen. Right? It's his wish list. Never going to happen. Ever. So mandatory spending per person, Social Security, up $210 under Trump. Medicare, up $299 up Trump. $2,250, that is your absolute have to spend kind of thing. Grants for state Medicaid, up $33 under Trump. Veterans Affairs, up $72. Food assistance, down $68. That's SNAP. Earned income tax credits, down $23. Disability compensation, down $21. Federal Highway Administration, average per person, $142. Up $2 under Trump. Obamacare premium refundable tax credits, up $39. So, yeah, look, all of these things are wish lists. They're all wish lists. That's all it is. This is what he would like. Then they're going to fight about it and say, no, we want this. And they'll say this thing's heartless. and they'll come back and forth and they'll battle it out. And then we'll have, this, the budget won't get done. And this is the way that this thing goes, right? Is it a great budget? Is it a balanced budget? No, it's not. I mean, we're nowhere near getting away from our deficit. We're spending more and more and more and more on stuff. I don't think we need to spend that kind of money on military. I think we need to spend wiser on military. Because, I talk to people all the time in Congress, and we'll go over, like, one of them is, he and I chat a lot, and he talks about the waste in not just military, but across the board, and duplicate agencies, and in places where the programs haven't worked for years, or things they've bought because they've got contracts and they no longer use them and will never need them, and they're just sitting in a warehouse somewhere. There's so much waste. There's a nightmare for you, right? So we'll see what it looks like at the end, because like everything else, they're going to tear it up. They're going to come back with something else, which will get torn up, and then they'll come back with something else. They'll meet somewhere in the middle-ish area, and at the end of the day, they'll pat each other on the back as if they've done something great once they pass a budget, which was your job. Speaking of budgets, 1 in 3 American workers run out of money before payday, even those earning $100,000. What? We're going to talk about that. But first, let's talk about how you win the day. 2 days away. 2 to Valentine's Day. You're probably thinking, oh, yeah, I got to do something. Now's the day. Don't be that person. 2 days away. 1-800-Flowers.com is going to save you. Now, today only, 24-stem colorful rose medley, $29.99. That's right, 24-stem colorful rose medley for $29.99, or upgrade to 24 red roses, $10 more. 1-800-Flowers is going to help you win the day. They're picked at the peak, insured freshness, overnight to you, boom. This expires today. Win the day. You pick the delivery date. 1-800-Flowers handles the rest. You win the day and potentially the night. You're going to love these things. She is going to love them. And I said she. This is the person you don't want to be. I'm going to explain this to you. I want you guys to understand. You go, you're like, oh, my God, I forgot about that. You buy a cheap card from the pharmacy, but they don't have flowers, right? So you're driving and you see somebody who's selling flowers and they're awful, but you give them $10 and then you think you've won. You haven't won. You failed. 1-800-Flowers will help you win. 24-stem colorful rose medley for $29.99. Upgraded 24 red roses, $10 more. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com. Click on the radio icon. Enter code Benson to order today. 1-800-Flowers.com. Code Benson. Hurry. Offer expires today. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
We saved the automobile industry. We passed Obamacare. We stopped insurance companies from discriminating against people with pre-existing conditions. And on top of all of that, we built an economy that Trump is bragging about.
If the economy sucked, would you blame that on him? Of course you would. The automobile industry, you're fine with bailing them out, but the banks are the bad guys. It's crazy, right? Like you sit there and laugh. Biden, you've got nothing to brag about. Apparently today he's on the phone with all his donors going, I'm going to be fine. I'm in this for the long haul. If I was a donor to Biden, right, and I thought, well, I got big money, I'm looking at Biden, and he's calling me up and he's saying, we need your help. My first question is, how much do you really want this? Because I don't feel you want this. I don't feel you're in this for the long haul. I feel a Biden that has passion and belief that he can win this thing would have a shot. But you don't have passion or belief, and I don't even know if you have the care to win it at this point in time. How much are you into this? You left New Hampshire. The optics of that are ugly. You've just skipped Nevada, and you've headed straight to South Carolina. If that was your plan all along, okay, I could have seen that. But you campaigned the hell out of New Hampshire, and Iowa. You press flash. You had your No Malarkey Tour bus. You finished in, God only knows. I at this point with Iowa, I couldn't tell you where anybody finished. I know 1 and 2, 2 and 1, it's about the same. And then it's the rest. Everybody flips a coin and they get. But in New Hampshire, you finished 5th, right? I know you're not going to do great in caucusing. It's not your thing. But New Hampshire, you finished 5th. So soak that up for a minute. You finished 5th. Just throwing it out there. So I don't know how much you want this thing. 1 in 3 Americans run out of cash between paychecks. 1 in 3. Even people who were living on $100,000. So think about that. So 1 in 3, this according to a new survey fielded by Salary Finance. They talked about 3,000 U.S. adults at companies with over 500 employees. And it's very interesting. Less than 15,000 was at 40%. And then in between, it was at the same for 15 to 24,000. You work your way down. But then you got to like 50 to 70,000, 27%. It's 70 to 85,000, 28%. 85,000 to 99,000, 27%. Over 100,000 to 130,000, 31%. Even people making over $200,000 would run out of cash in between. That a lot of it's probably the same thing, right? You're either living above your means, and you've spent big, which is what happens a lot of times. You overspent. That happens, right? But that's not a good thing to do. So run out of money in between. And like they say, living paycheck affects all kinds of income levels, because in California, you make $200,000, you and your wife or just you or somebody, you make $200,000 in a place like San Francisco after state taxes, actual taxes, your other things that come out, your health care and all that stuff. You're not walking with what you think you're walking with, and you're living in a place where an apartment, even a cheap one, is going to run you $3,000-4,000 with everything else. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough out there. It is. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program straight to me. You can also check out the Instagram and the Facebook page. Grab the podcast, TuneIn Radio app. Just go right there. You can grab the podcast. Listen at your leisure, right? Listen at your leisure. And I promise you, by listening, you will not run out of listening between paychecks. I'm just promising you that. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Hello, New Hampshire. How are you?
Well, there are still ballots left to count. We have beaten the odds every step of the way.
In this election season, we have been told by some that you must either be for revolution or you are for the status quo. But where does that leave the rest of us?
We still have 98% of our delegates for our nomination up for grabs. And Americans in every part of the country are going to make their voices heard.
We're going to Nevada. We're going to South Carolina. We're going to win those states as well.
You have no idea how great it is to be back in South Carolina.
I bet it is, because it isn't Iowa and it isn't New Hampshire. And I may have a chance of winning. He is not metal. He is horrible at running for president. He's awful. It was like the 28th time he's done it. He ran against Lincoln, Taft. was watching him last night, and he looks exhausted. Biden, you're done, right? Nothing else we can say. I mean, this will be your third chance to make a 29th impression. And I just don't know how you're going to do it. Next Saturday, which is Washington's birthday, by the way, who Biden ran against originally, will be caucus day in Nevada. He is not going to fare well there, but caucus states, first of all, after the Iowa disaster, let's just all take a pass. Secondly, it's just his crowd of voter isn't energized that much to get out and do stuff like that, right? Plus, they usually have to have somebody take them there. Chad, you're being a jerk. On the other hand, Bernie and Buttigieg, Mayor Pete, they had a good night. Amy Klobuchar had a good night. But Elizabeth Warren was a wah, 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 wah.
I want to take the opportunity to express my appreciation and respect for all of the Democratic candidates we ran against. Pete Buttigieg,
Listen to this.
Klobuchar,
Listen to this.
Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden.
Yeah. They're not fans. People are like, not fans. I just, is he it, right? Like, are they really going to get behind him if he ends up being it? Again, it's a big if he ends up being it.
The so-called Democratic Socialist, as he calls himself, the top of your ticket.
Primaries are primaries, and there are always lots of Sturm and Drang. You will see in a few months, Democrats will be strongly united together, and we will be focused like a laser on beating Donald Trump. The enthusiasm that you last saw in 2008 to elect Barack Obama, you will see among Democrats this summer and fall to get Donald Trump out of office.
How real is that, though? Right? How about this? New Pew Research. 6 in 10 Americans say they are better off now than 3 years ago. 6 in 10. 61% told pollsters, yeah, they're better off now and better shape than they were shortly after Trump took office. 36% said they are definitely not better off. 3% say, it's a push. So 61%, 6 in 10. That's a big thing, guys. That is a big thing. If that holds true, do you feel better off? I mean, honestly, right? Take politics out of it. Take Trump out of it and the stuff that he says and tweets and all that stuff. Do you feel like you're better off? Do you feel like your life is worse? Do you feel like it's worse? People underestimate. People are underestimating. Some of the Democrats are underestimating the power of Bernie. Some of the Republicans are underestimating the power of what Bernie is doing. Right? Because because another Gallup poll that came out said that essentially a majority of Americans will not vote for a socialist. And that includes Democrats. That absolutely includes Democrats. They're fearful of what. And when you listen to Bernie, right? When you listen, by the way, the survey was done January 16th through the 29th. 53% said they would not vote for their party nominee if they were a socialist.
A moment
That's
from,
huge.
That's
huge. That's huge. 53%. Democrats have a battle going on right now, but you can't underestimate it. So I continue to tell everybody, don't underestimate it. That's what people did to the likes of Trump, right? They all laughed. This past weekend, Steve Bannon was on with Bill Maher. And it's funny that they were talking about a lot of this stuff. You heard, anybody could beat him. You could do this. I could go outside and pick Tom Perez. I can go outside and pick anybody off the street. They're going to beat him. Mickey Mouse can beat him the other day. That old Biden said that. Keep laughing.
Okay, one side always has more money than the other.
This is not about more money.
It's not about more money because the last time Trump had way less money and he won.
Absolutely.
Sort of. All right. But
it's that mentality that has you in this place today. And the place today is Trump is about to run the tables. You have a totally divided Democratic
I agree
Party.
with that.
No, because nobody sat there after 2016 and said, why did we lose?
Yeah. Why? I still hear them talk, and they're trying to figure out why they lost in a way that they're trying to figure out if they can fix the loss, almost go back in time. They're not trying to figure out why they lost. Andrew Yang said the other day, Trump is not the problem. He's just a symptom of the problem. And he's right. He's right. You've got crazy political correctness. You've got this, identity politics. You have people walking around on eggshells. You have a class warfare that's being started. You have, it's attack on the poor. It's attack on the rich. You have so many different things that both sides are guilty of it. And I just sit here and sit back and I laugh because I watch them continue to make the same mistakes over and over, not just with Trump, but also with Bernie.
The same arrogance you saw in the people in Brooklyn that would not send Hillary Clinton to Michigan. And to remember, Michael Moore always makes the point, I think there's 70,000 down-ticket votes in Michigan that didn't vote for a president. The reason is Trump reached out to these working-class people and connected with them, okay? It's the same arrogance you see in Iowa about this app.
Yes, there is that.
Yeah. He's right. There's a certain arrogance. I mean, my God, I was reading about that app last week. I mean, we were all going over it. And then over the weekend, the guy came out and was like, well, I didn't really try the app. Nobody really tried it. I mean, they didn't even try it. Like, that's the insanity of this. But he's right. Continue. So many people I talk to think that this is going to be just a rollover. And I just sit back and I go, yeah, you keep dreaming, right? You guys can't even get your house in order. But if you think for a second that this is going to be a walk in the park and it's going to be 70%, you're fooling yourself. And now more than ever, people are keeping quiet or lying about who they support because of the demonization and the Trump derangement syndrome out there.
You said, why do you win?
No.
You win because the game is rigged for you. I get it.
Absolutely not. It's absolutely not.
The electoral okay. All right, Steve.
Hold it. With this attitude, the beauty, we're going to keep winning. We're going to keep winning. I love this.
I know you do. I know you do.
Yeah. It's rigged. It's this. It's that. It's all. Everybody's got an excuse. It's that person that's always got an excuse about something. Why I didn't do this? Why I didn't that? Hey, this is why I didn't go to college and play college baseball because the coach didn't like me. Or everybody's got an excuse. They're trying to figure it out. I've not heard too many people. Mayor Pete has been doing something, and Amy Klobuchar has been doing the same thing. And I think why they're surging, besides the middle ground of trying to pick off that conservative, the Reagan Democrat, or you look and you say, oh my goodness, those people are looking around going, where do we fit in these things? Because we're not uber progressive, right? And so we're just kind of independent and we're staying here looking for somebody. They're not only courting those people in a real way, they're also looking for the disenfranchised Republicans. And they're not insulting them. And they're not talking about radical revolution. And they're not saying, hey, you got to be a Democrat forever. They're going out and they're pitching them in such a way that is appealing to hear. Even if you don't like the politics, you can say, you know what, I like what you're saying there. You're not being a jerk. So much of this is as about dividing as it can be anymore. But to think that this is going to be a rollover in an economy that is rolling along, you're fooling yourself. Because at the end of the day, we're still very checkbook, right? And you look at the Pew Research, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, and you see what's important to people and what's not important to people. Keep smiling. Keep thinking that Mickey Mouse could easily take Trump. See what happens. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Raycons Best earbuds around, period, case closed. End of story. Drop the microphone. Now I pick it back up. I love my earphones. So I've got earbuds, right? Like I've got these, and I've had them all kinds before. These, when they said, hey, try these things out, I tried them out. Like these things, first of all, for me, comfort is huge. Sound quality, I'm a bit of an audiophile. Ray J put this thing together with sound quality in mind. And then I said, what's the price point? And they said about half of what you're going to pay for all of these other super name brands, but with better sound quality. The new E25s, 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, compact design, nice, amazing noise isolating fit. So, and I do a lot of calls. I'm doing a lot of stuff. Have my earbuds in all the time from Raycons. You will as well. They are awesome, stylish, and again, very discreet. You got them in your ears. Almost nobody knows. Love them. You will too. Now, not only are you paying half the price, you're going to save 15% right now. It's simple and easy. You go to buyraycon.com/Chad. buyraycon.com/Chad. 15% off right now. Best earbuds around. buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter @Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
This just as clearly and directly as I can. The only thing between the United States and the abyss is the Democratic Party. That's it. And if we go the way of the British Labour Party, it's going to be the end of days. We're going to lose it. We're going to be the British Labour Party. We're going to be out in some theoretical left-wing la-la land.
So what exactly are you afraid of?
I'm afraid that Donald Trump is going to get reelected, and I have to do this for 4 more years, and I don't think we can make it. I really don't.
It's James Carville. He's talking about the British Labour Party. So Britain held their election last month, and everybody thought Boris Johnson was going to be blown out of the water. Jeremy Corbyn, who was like their Bernie Sanders, they just thought, I mean, it was all identity politics. They were going to blow him out of the water. Brexit, all of these things. It was, the polls were pretty close. Showed Labour had, in some places, was leading, but it was going to be a close race. But they thought for sure they were going to, this is it, they're coming back. They got destroyed. They didn't just get beat. They got beat down, boat raced, and they handed the Conservative Party a mandate. And they were all shocked. They were all shocked. Now, I don't think the world's coming to an end if Bernie's president. I don't think the world's coming to an end if Trump is president for another 4 years. I'm going to be honest with you there, right? These people are paid to say crazy things. When I hear people up there, we can't handle another 4 years of this. I'm like, oh my God. You may not be able to, but the rest of us will be just fine.
It's just the country can't continue like this, and it has to have an alternative. That's it. That's the only hope for America. There's a certain part of the Democratic Party that wants us to be a cult. I'm not interested in being in a cult. I'm 75 years old. I'm just not a very culty person. Some people in this country want a revolution. They want disruption. I don't know what, they scream at people. They go and bully people. I don't know how you win an election. I'm 78 years old, standing up screaming in a microphone about the revolution. Good God, we got to do something here, people.
Best sound of the day. Good God. Gotta do something, people. He's right, though. Let me hear Bernie talk. He's out there screaming and yelling about, how are you going to get these things passed? We're going to make people get on the streets and protest every single day and get out in the streets and start a revolution. So you're going to scare politicians into doing what you say? That sounds a little scary. I don't know about you. Now, a difference is you're not going to have the kind of crowds that you're going to get in other countries that are willing to do stuff like this, right? Because everybody's got a job. You're just going to mostly annoy people. And you're going to find out that everything's going to come to a gridlock, and you're going to find out your party's going to give you bigger hell than anything else. But the reality is that you're even talking about this. So what matters as we head into this election for a lot of people, right? So we come off a primary in New Hampshire, a caucus in Iowa. We're heading to another one next week in Nevada, and then straight to South Carolina and Super Tuesday a couple weeks away. What are people looking at? Economy, 70%. It's the economy, stupid. Even 18 to 29-year-olds. Reducing healthcare costs. Again, across the board. Men and women. Improving education. Defending the country from future terrorists. Taking steps to make Social Security systems financially strong. Right? Medicare strong. Dealing with the problems of poor and the needy. But you start looking down here, and then you get all the way down, and then you start to see climate change. Right? Like, oh, it's still the economy, stupid. No matter how you spend it. Right? You can spend it this way and then spend it over there. But the reality is they want to spend it. And most people are worried about how they're spending theirs and how they're making theirs. It's the economy, stupid. Clinton was right. He was right about a lot of things. It is the economy, stupid. Hey, don't worry, I didn't vote for Hillary either. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Young girl in trouble over a hand gesture? Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Wow. We were laughing about the name of the coronavirus because they got a name for it now.
The virus given an official name, COVID-19. It's infected over 43,000 and killed more than 1,000 people, nearly all cases in China. In the U.S., the 13th confirmed case, a passenger quarantined on base in Miramar in California, has now tested positive. Nearly 200 Americans under quarantine since flying in from Wuhan 2 weeks ago are now free to go home. Protective masks tossed in the air in celebration at March Air Reserve Base.
And the reason they chose the name, we've been laughing about this, because they went PC in the name choosing. That's right. They went PC in the name choosing. I'm not lying. COVID-19. They said the result of the rulemaking and political sensitivity for COVID-19. We had to find a name that did not refer to a geographical location, an animal or individual or a group of people, and that something was also pronounceable and relatable to the disease. They went PC. Like, do you think any animal, what if you called it the bat flu? Or the pangolin? Or the goblin flu? Do you think anybody's like, goblins are going to be like, oh my God, I'm pissed. How racist. You're goblin phobic. You think bats are going, we need to have a talk. Guys, we need to have a talk here. Did you see what they did? Yeah, they've demonized us. Yeah, they're making fun of us. No. Yes. Are you serious? Yes. No way. Yes. Well, I'll be. I can't believe it. No, I know. So stupid. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Last night, of course, was the end for Yang. I'm going to miss Yang. Right? Yang is fun. Right? Yang made us think. Yang didn't piss anybody off.
I am not someone who wants to accept donations and support in a race that we will not win. And so tonight, I am announcing I am suspending my campaign for president.
Oh. Whoa. He never had a chance. But let's be real, right, for a second. Here's a guy not many people outside of the tech world and nonprofits kind of knew about, who came on the scene as a relative nobody. He wasn't like Buttigieg was a politician. People inside of the Democratic Party knew who he was. On top of that, Obama gave him an endorsement like 16 months ago, like this guy is the next. Not Andrew Yang. He was interesting. He came in, threw some stuff out there, and I just like the fact that the way he went about doing things. I've said, I don't care if you're on the right or left, you find a place for him in your administration because he's forward-thinking.
I can't tell you how sad I am that Andrew Yang is leaving this race. I think that he represented a positive populism. So much of politics now is who do you hate? And the thing about Andrew Yang is you could join the Yang gang and not hate anybody. He just wanted to make sure that we retooled the economy for these new challenges. And I just think that from a decade perspective, he may wind up being a much more significant voice than we recognize tonight.
Yeah, and that is a huge possibility. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to be around. I think he's made a name for himself. But I like the fact that nobody really hated him, right? And Van Jones was right. We live in a world now where it is about demonizing the other side. It's about telling everybody, no, I don't suck as much as that guy. That guy's the worst. That guy's awful. That guy's horrible. She's the worst. She, they're the awful bad. They're coming. They hate you. They hate your kind. That's so much of what it was like. And he wasn't like that. He wasn't. And I'm bummed because I thought I was getting $1,000 a month.
And he broke a color barrier when it came. He's an Asian American guy. Yeah. And now that's a thing. Right. And you saw a lot of young Asians get involved. And also, it wasn't a big thing. His idea around universal basic income, was it like 3% or like no percent a year and a half ago? Now it's a 55% popular idea in some polls. That's a big deal.
That's awesome. I like it. Again, you find a place for people like that on or in your administration. On your staff somewhere, in your administration, you create a place. Because I think you look at somebody like that, he's got innovative ideas, and he is thinking about the future. He's thinking about where we're going. Love to get his take on things not just about AI and all of that stuff, but also on education, because I think our education system is a disaster, and we're stuck in neutral, going uphill, and I feel like we're spinning our wheels. We have this complex education system. We have a huge diversity that does make, you look around the world, you say, Finland, and look at all these people in Iceland. They're like 99% are literate. I mean, yeah, but they're just one people. We have a complex system of different ways that people teach in charter schools and private schools. And you go into some classrooms, and especially in urban cities, you may have 5, 6, 7 different languages being spoken in there as their first language before they ever get to English. I want to know, how do we teach for where we're going? Not where we've been, but where we're going. And I think we need to do that more often than not, and we're not. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. I love hearing from all of you. I do. I like absurd. I like crazy because it makes me just go, really? Is that the world we're living? Case in point, this. Remember now, kids, if you go to school and you're a child and you happen to do something that freaks people out, there's a good chance it's going to be blown out of proportion.
A child's outburst in the Valley Forge Elementary kindergarten class drew a threat assessment and led to a police investigation we're told was initiated by the school district. The girl at the center of it all, 6-year-old Margot. She has Down syndrome. Maggie Gaines says the moment that landed her daughter in hot water was when Margot made a gun gesture and said she'd shoot the teacher.
It was very clear from the beginning that she didn't understand what she was saying, and the teacher and the principal agreed. But then they said that they needed to convene a threat assessment team.
Wait a minute. You have to have a threat assessment team on a 6-year-old who made a gun gesture, who has Down syndrome, who doesn't understand what she did. And you're going to go, as an adult, we need a threat assessment team. Really? Is that what you need? Yeah. Well, they're done. They're too busy chasing Roger Stone. But as soon as they capture him, they're coming for her.
Gaines said the conclusion, there was in fact no threat to safety. But she says the Tredyffrin Easttown School District wasn't finished.
But they said that they still needed to call the police. And as I get this phone call, I was fine with everything up until they said, and we have to call the police. And I said, you absolutely do not have to call the police. This is ridiculous.
You have to call the police? How do you do? I explained about 2-3 years ago. Jack was in first grade, right? I think it was. Maybe it was kindergarten. It was first grade or kindergarten. It was one of those. And you know how kids are. They run around. They don't know, right? You got a crush on somebody. And like a girl kissed Jack on the cheek. And like we get a phone call. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah. And then another girl did. And they're like, I'm like, what should we do? I'm like, are you asking me? I was like, is this a serious phone call? Because at first I'm like, there's no way you guys are asking me this as adults. What do we do at this point in time? Well, I don't know. Somebody find Ronan Farrow. We need to get to the bottom of this. They're kids running around. At some point in time, is there not an adult that goes, you know what, we're just going to let this one slide, move on with our life? I don't think the 6-year-old Down syndrome girl is going to blast away at anybody. Right? Right? Just like I don't think Jack has been Harvey Weinstein by a couple of kindergarten girls. We're just going to move on with our life, but not in this day and age.
Gaines last month went public about the incident in a letter to the school board. Her position, school officials are misinterpreting policy and state law.
She didn't really understand what she was saying. Her having Down syndrome is one aspect of it, but I'm pretty sure that most 6-year-olds don't really understand what that means. So now there is a record at the Tredyffrin Police Department that says she made a threat to her teacher.
Yeah, they said, no, there's not a record, but she is on file. And I'm like, my God. When you were a kid, most of you listening right now, when you were a kid, you did something stupid. Mrs. Winston, right? I had a teacher, Mrs. Winston, right? It's a great lady, one of my favorite teachers of all time. Man, she grabbed my arm. She had big nails, right? Her husband was in the NFL. Son went on to play in the NFL. Man, we were just, oh, God. She would smack you upside the head and say, stop that. Get on with your life. And we get on with our life. We can't do that now. Everybody's so sensitive. Too sensitive? You mean, like, how do you go home at night and say, hey, you know what? How was your day? It's tough. We had a little girl. She got Down syndrome. She's 6. Nice little girl. Until the point where she threatened to kill me with her finger gun. Oh, no way. Yeah. She was going to finger gun me. Yeah, she did. What kind was it? Was it a semi-automatic? I think it was. You're like, no. Man, you need a drink. People. How do you look people in the face and roll with that? I'm just curious. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love, hate, craziness. It's all there, kids. It's all there, kids. Am I wrong? Am I being weird? Look, there are kids you can look at and say, all right, that kid's going to be some trouble. Right? And we got to watch it. But 6, Down syndrome, knows really. 6-year-olds who don't have Down syndrome have very little concept of certain things. But this, like a threat assessment team, what does that even mean? I feel like people are going to be rappelling down a roof, coming to get you. Oh, my. Hey, I'm an active person. You want to know? Let's take a look at this. Took my Super Beat, I took my Beat Elite earlier today by Human, right? So I take this stuff. It's great because I want to get more out of, super active. Already today, I have done an hour and 24 minutes of working out, and I crushed it. I'm playing soccer tonight, so I'll do about 2.5. And you know what I do? I take my Beat Elite, little 4 ounces of water, pour it in there, boom, drink it straight down, away I go. And what it's doing for me is incredible. It's giving me a natural ed. I mean, my edge here is like I'm going longer, feeling better. I've already done 30 flights of stairs. I love Beat Elite. Take about a half an hour before and just watch it go. And if you normally work out 45 minutes, but you like to work out longer, you watch how you extend your workout. You're going to get more endurance, better stamina, increase your oxygen. That's what Beat Elite's going to do for you. It does it for me for soccer and my other workouts. You're going to love it. All major sports teams and organizations across the country use Beat Elite. You are going to love it. Take your game to the next level. Take your workout to another level. Go to livehuman.com/Chad. You're going to save 20% off your first purchase. Team Human is making this offer just for my listeners. You're not going to find a deal like this anywhere else. That's livehuman.com/Chad. livehuman.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers.
One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
If you get this question right, you have 5 seconds to pick up whatever you want.
You're put on the spot.
10 times 10 minus 50.
50. And if you're correct...
5.
The clock starts ticking.
4. Not my cat. 3.
Ahmed Alwan does this a few times a day, and it's made him viral on TikTok with millions of views.
2 2/4. 2 3/4. 1. Take your stuff and leave.
Yeah, I love this. Math Deli. That's what we call it. The Math Deli. These guys are on the TikTok. So you get a question, right? And then you can grab anything you want. Except you heard, not my cat. You can't touch my cat. Don't touch my cat. Don't touch my cat. Somebody went for the cat. I like it, though. Smart thinking, outside the box. I'd like a do-over, sir. I didn't know. You should have put the rules in there before that. But you got to answer the question correctly.
His father opened this bodega on the corner of Southern Boulevard and Freeman Street more than 10 years ago. Ahmed works behind the counter when he can.
I said let me entertain people and help people at the same time because I see a lot of homeless people in the streets and the trains.
He says by doing this, he wants the young kids watching his videos to know that education is key.
Yes, it is. Education is key. It's not the end-all to be-all because you can get your education anywhere. But you should know some stuff. And I love the fact that he does it on TikTok and he gives you 5. And you can grab anything, too, by the way. It doesn't matter if it costs $1 or $100. You can grab anything that's out there, minus his cat, and it's yours.
Anissa, if you get this question right, you have 5 seconds to pick up whatever you want and this roast bear. For real? For real. Okay. 11 times 11 minus 20.
11 times 11, 121 brings to 101.
5, 4, 3, 2, 2 1/4, 1.
Love it. Love it. Love it. We need more stories like that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. You can text the program as well. Last night kind of went as some people expected. Minus my biggest takeaway last night. We were talking yesterday. Biden 5th. That wasn't a shock. The shock that he left, I think, for a lot of people. And the way he did it and took off to South Carolina. But how much better Klobuchar did than Warren was my big takeaway last night. Bernie, I thought, was going to win. I thought he'd be a little bit more comfortable. Buttigieg, I thought, was going to be second. But Klobuchar just absolutely running by Warren. You got a woman from Minnesota, right, from the middle of the country, who resonated more from the upper East Coast in Warren, in a state that borders her state that she's very familiar with. That, to me, was my big takeaway is she's done and Biden's done. And in some way, shape, or form, they're going to have to figure this thing out sooner rather than later. 40% is what Vegas has right now, the chance of it being a brokered convention. Take that, 40%. Wounded Paw, amazing organization. On average, every day we lose 20 veterans to suicide. It's a sad fact, but now there's something you can do to help. Folks at Wounded Paw took notice of the high suicide rates among veterans, recognized that every day thousands of dogs as well are being euthanized across shelters in this country. So what they did is they combined their love of animals with the want to help our veterans, first responders, and their family, and they created Wounded Paw Project, and it is amazing. Their motto is to save a paw, is to save a life, and they do it. Donating's easy. They need your help. You can do it through a gift of a vehicle, amazing tax-deductible gifts. They take that money, advocate, protect, and transform shelter dogs into service dogs for our veterans, first responders, and their families. Now's your chance to help. Great tax-deductible gift. Again, you can give your car, truck, RV. If it flies or floats, they'll take it. Also, you can donate cash. Check everything out at woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org, or call 844-678-4PAW. That's 844-678-4729, or woundedpawproject.org. At Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter and your Instagram, right? You can do all those things. Check us out. Check out the Facebook page as well and grab our podcast where great podcasts are available, including the TuneIn Radio app. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.